Welcome in, everybody. It's Dan Plucker with Maize N Brew. Today, we're going to be going through what was a very ugly offensive performance for Michigan against Michigan State, shooting 34.5% from the field, 3 for 20 from deep in a game where they never got going, but somehow kept things close with Tom Izzo and the Michigan State Spartans. My biggest problem with a lot of this game is it looked like Michigan never knew what they were trying to do offensively. And you can see this here. 20 seconds left in the shot clock. One of the first possessions of the game for the Wolverines. They'll get the ball in eventually here to Kobe Buffkin. And this play is supposed to go to Jet Howard. First of all, Kobe Buffkin is kind of patrolling the offense here. You can see Doug McDaniel. He's like, Jet, get up here. You're supposed to be in this spot. We're supposed to be rotated 4 men around the arc and Dickinson in the middle. Well, it's too slow to progress. Now Jet's expecting the ball. He's not going to get it because Kobe calls a different play. And it's just a lot of standing around. And Dickinson draws a double and makes a smart pass here because this defender decides to go up to Jet Howard. So Dickinson has an angle to get the ball to Doug McDaniel. That's got to be a shot, though. Dougie McD is a very confident player. I think that he played a terrible game, actually, against Michigan State. He's been showing improvement, but he did not play well in this game. It looked like he was rattled in the Breslin Center against Michigan State. So it was unfortunate, and here he drives, winds up being triple teamed in the paint, tough shot, and a bad possession for Michigan. And there were a lot of them in this game. Jet Howard has NBA talent. There's absolutely no doubt in that. Right before this play, the last Michigan possession, he drills a three-pointer with a defender in his face. But he still gets that like high school mentality sometimes of, I'm the best player on the court, I'm going to take the next shot, commanding the basketball and then taking an ill-advised opportunity. And here he does get some separation, but it's just ISO basketball. It's just ISO basketball from Jet Howard. He gets some separation there, pulls up, and just doinks it. And there's plenty of time left in the shot clock. There's no play that gets run in this situation. And it feels like we see that a couple of times, one, maybe 2 times a game from Jet Howard. And I don't know if that's what the Michigan offense really needs. It's just not good basketball. Okay, so something that really frustrates me about Juwan Howard's offense is it takes forever to get set up, and then if it doesn't work, none of his players know what to do. There's not like a secondary action or a tertiary thing that this team can do to kind of get themselves right within the offensive system. And you're going to see that on this play. You're going to see a screen from Hunter Dickinson. Kobe Buffkin's going to roll down to the paint, and then the ball is supposed to get to Hunter here. Then Buffkin's supposed to come back up and around, screen here, and he's supposed to either get a dribble handoff from Dickinson with the ball here and cut to the paint, or be here with an open look. Somewhere up here is kind of where they're looking to get the ball to Kobe Buffkin with space. And watch what happens throughout the course of this play. The ball gets to Hunter. Really good defense to the point that Dickinson can't get Buffkin the ball. And now they're in this awkward, who's getting the ball, what's happening here, state mentality. They do eventually get the ball to Buffkin, and then there's another screen and roll, nothing going. Bad offense. Again, there's no like quick 8-second play that they could just get a good look, get a good shot out. That does not exist in the Michigan offense. It just doesn't. And then we're going to see another screen here. Nowhere to go with the basketball. Ugly shot. Terrible possession for Michigan. And there's far too much of that within the Michigan offense where if the first part of the play doesn't work, there is no play. And it's just guys trying to figure out how to score the basketball. And there's no structure to it. It's if the first step fails, there's not a second or third step to get them back on track within a given play. And it's a massive problem for the Wolverines. So something is up with the spacing on this play. I don't know if Jet is actually supposed to be on this side of the court to keep defenders out of the paint. I don't know exactly what Michigan is trying to do here. They might be trying to get a look for Joey Baker, who was like 0 for 5, 0 for 6 on the game. And Jace is going to set a screen here, and then he's going to roll down into the paint. And I don't know if it just seems like he's out of position, because you're going to see a double screen here, and then Kobe Buffkin's going to drive, and he would have an opportunity to maybe take it to the rack, except Jace Howard is posted right here in the paint, and there's nowhere for him to go. Watch how this plays out. The double screen, Kobe right there. He has to turn back because I think he has his man beat, and he can maybe take the ball up to the hoop. But since Jace Howard is also posted up here in the paint, there's nowhere for him to go. They do eventually pass it into Jace, and he's basically getting double teamed there in a post, at least with a lot of help. And it's another bad look for the Wolverines. It's why they have 7 points 8 minutes into the game. We've talked previously about it as well. Sometimes these Michigan freshmen look like freshmen. And this play is a great example of that, because you're going to see a lot of dribbling between Jet Howard and Doug McDaniel here. Right on the perimeter, not a lot of passing, just the two of them dribbling around for most of the shot clock before anything actually happens. There's just nothing going on. There's no movement from the exterior players. Jet Howard almost turns the ball over. Now Doug McDaniel has the ball, trying to get something set up. Terrace Reed is calling for the basketball. It's just a lot of dribbling. And it winds up being a turnover. That was maybe the worst possession of the game for Michigan in this contest. Just abysmal. Nothing happening. No movement from anybody except for Terrace Reed and whoever was dribbling the basketball. That's it. That was the Michigan offense on this play. A game like this is a game exactly where Michigan really misses a veteran point guard like Jalen Llewellyn. And this is the reason why. I mean, Kobe Buffkin has to run the offense in an extremely hostile environment in a game that the Wolverines are not playing well. And frustrations just kind of go where they go. You know, it's a very frustrated team in this situation. And there were a lot of turnovers in the first half, and I don't know if there's one much worse than this. You're going to see kind of like a fake screen and slip here from Isaiah Barnes, and then an actual screen from Terrace Reed that Kobe Buffkin will use, and then he'll whip a pretty ugly pass and blame Barnes for being in the wrong spot. And this was just an environment I don't think Michigan was ready for. I don't think they were comfortable in. They obviously had a lot of turnovers, 10 in the game. They shot poorly. We discussed that earlier. And I think this young team was just rattled on the road. They had some open looks in this game that were within their offense, but they just weren't hitting them, and they didn't know how to get out of this funk that they were in for the majority of the game. And ultimately, that's what cost them. All right, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on 4 on this possession. You're going to see T-Will come this way. Dickinson's going to kind of just push his defender into the post. You're going to have a 2-on-1 situation. You'll see, I believe this is Malik Hall, kind of step in. Kobe Buffkin's going to have a wide open look from 3, and I know this team is not playing well right now, and they have not been shooting the basketball well, but Kobe, this separation here, that has to be a shot. He needs to pull up and shoot this basketball. I get it. You're not shooting well from deep. Nobody on your team is. Kobe Buffkin 0 for 2, 0 for 3 at this point in the game. But that has to be a shot. That's the shot they're looking for. Not driving into the paint and now having 1, 2, 3, 4 guys congesting the middle, along with Dickinson even. So 5 congesting the middle and a tough shot on the inside. Now, Buffkin is well adept to hitting tough shots. It's part of what makes him a good player on the offensive end. But what really will take his game to the next level is when he starts taking and hitting those open looks that he gets instead of pump faking and driving, which he does so often. We mentioned something similar earlier, but this is one of the biggest problems with Michigan's offense is probably 60 to 70% of their offense is played here. Is played at this point in beyond the perimeter. I mean, just look how much is happening here. Dribble handoff. Like what does that, what do all those dribble handoffs establish? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know. I mean, maybe they're switching up defenders, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not doing anything. And now you've wasted 10 seconds. You get the ball to Terrace Reed again at the perimeter, and Kobe Buffkin is getting screened here for him to come back up to the perimeter. And he tries to cut back door, which doesn't work. But that would have been the first time the Wolverines would have gotten the ball inside at all. Now we see Terrace Reed dribbling. Jet Howard gets the ball at the top of the key. Passes to Terrence Williams at the top of the key. And we're 18 seconds into the shot clock before the ball actually enters inside of the perimeter. 18 seconds into the offense before the ball is actually inside. And now watch. 1 guy standing, 2 guys standing, 3 guys standing, 4 guys standing. No cuts, no helps whatsoever. And so often the ball in the Michigan offense gets caught either in this corner or this corner with somebody posting up. Whether that's Terrace Reed or Hunter Dickinson, 95% of the time it's one of those two players. But then after that, there's so much standing where? Outside of the perimeter. And there's nothing happening. You're relying on one guy to beat one guy, and then when he gets doubled or even gets a small hand in like you saw there from Hall, that's the offense. A foul gets picked up and kind of bails them out of an awful possession, but this is the Michigan offense. It is get the ball to Hunter Dickinson in the post and watch him go to work. Hope that he gets a double team so he can kick it out. That's the Michigan offense, and that's why it doesn't work, because it's too simple and there's not enough focus on movement down towards the rim. All right, let's follow the ball again. Let's see where it goes on this play. Hint, it's going to be here the entire time. Watch. Dribble handoff to the other end and a dribble handoff. A screen, doesn't go to the inside. Baker comes over for a screen, nothing. Reed for another screen at the top of the key, nothing. There's no cutting by any of the exterior players, and Jet Howard takes a contested 3. Terrace Reed's offensive board is the only thing that saves his possession. I'm telling you guys, that what we just saw right there is the Michigan offense and the problem with the Michigan offense. There's no swinging the basketball. It's way too individualistic. And when they actually get the ball in the paint, if they do, nobody moves. There's no movement on the offensive end. And I don't know if this is something that Juwan Howard is coaching them to do, or if it's something that the players are not listening to Howard telling them to do the correct things. I think it's somewhat of a combination, to be honest with you, because I think it all gets so lost in translation, and it's not a set play. It's if this happens, then do this, instead of just do this. And I think that the instincts of some of these players are not to the NBA capabilities that of what Juwan Howard is used to. Most of the guys on the basketball court for Michigan are not going to play in the NBA. That's just a fact. Or if they do, they're going to be in the G League. They're going to be overseas and not in the NBA. And I think that his coaching style is so focused on the NBA style that he sometimes forgets about just like getting into the nitty-gritty of basketball and running a play for a team and not a player. And that's where I think this Michigan offense truly is in serious danger of ever getting things going until he gets that NBA elite talent kind of all around him. All right, so here we go. This is actually a really good possession for Michigan. You're going to see a lot of movement of the basketball, which is a good thing. Something that has not happened a lot today, something that has not happened a lot in this game. Terrence Williams is going to kick it back here. Who's going to kick it to the corner to Jett Howard. They're going to get the ball on the inside to Hunter Dickinson. Dickinson is going to get doubled. He's going to make a nice pass, swing it to Bufkin. Every player on the court touches it here. And then it's going to be swung back to Terrence Williams, who's going to have a wide open three. Again, standing in this exact position where he is. Let's watch it all kind of transpire here. There comes the double, even a triple team technically. Whip around the corner. And Terrence Williams, wide open look. Just misses it. And unfortunately, that was a lot of what happened in this game too. But I think we need to start questioning some of the sets and lineups. And one of those guys, unfortunately, is Terrence Williams. This is a guy who shot 38.5% from three last season. Granted, in half the minutes that he's playing this year. So it's a much larger, total, much larger, a lot more data. But he's shooting under 30% from three this season. And when your offense revolves around getting the ball into the interior to Hunter Dickinson and surrounding him with shooters, when Kobe Bufkin is afraid to shoot the basketball, Terrence Williams just is missing. He just is incapable of hitting that shot right now. Jett Howard, best shooter on the team, I get it. And then Doug McDaniel, he can shoot, but he's streaky and he's always that drive first mentality guy. Same thing with Kobe Bufkin. So you have one true shooter around Hunter Dickinson on any given play. I think there's an issue with the structure of the team overall and the personnel. And I think that's under display here. And it's some guys that like Terrence Williams who are just underperforming this year. So do we make a change? Does Joey Baker become a starter and T. Will comes off the bench? I don't know, but something has to happen in games like this where the Michigan offense has nothing going for them, where they need to have that guy that is going to get them out of it. And right now that doesn't exist. On the road this season too, Terrence Williams, 23.5% from deep, 31% from the field on the road. Something has to change, whether it's with T. Will, whether it's with the offense, whether it's with the schematics. Like, Juwan Howard does not have it figured out right now. And even despite being, 3-1 in the Big Ten and all this stuff, I don't know if they're a tournament team until they get some of these offensive issues figured out. All right, so suddenly the Spartans are back up by 7, which seems insurmountable at this point. You're going to see a screen set by Terrence Williams, and then another screen here by Dickinson, and then Williams is going to set a soft screen here on the guard. Doug McDaniel is going to be wide open for a 3, but watch what he does. Doesn't even really look for a shot. And instead, I don't understand how this isn't a foul. I mean, look at what Terrence Williams is enduring here. I don't get how bulldozing a guy over isn't a foul. But thankfully, Bufkin drives to the hoop and tries to get something going himself. But that shot in the corner for Doug McDaniel is exactly what that play was supposed to be. And he had the look, and he didn't take it. Again, I told you just a minute ago, McDaniel and Bufkin always look to drive first. And what's going to make them NBA players is when they pull up and hit those threes, especially in big situations like this. It doesn't happen here. And for the rest of this game, Michigan didn't really show a lot of urgency, despite being down 7. Offensive sets taking forever to get set up, and Michigan State just continues to pull away because they hit their free throws. Michigan, kind of goes on a run here late, but final score, 59-53 for maybe the worst offensive performance in the Juwan Howard era at Michigan. It was a very ugly game, definitely not the type of play that you're expecting against potentially your arch rival in basketball. I say that's Michigan State. I get it. For football, it's all Ohio State. It's all everything. But for basketball, I think Michigan State's their biggest rival. And a game like this is just missing expectations. And Juwan Howard has to start figuring this out because it's a recurring problem. This isn't just a 2022-2023 problem. It goes back to last year. It goes back to the year before. His team goes through these periods in games where they just have nothing going for them. And it happens too often in a season. I get it. It happens once or twice against a really good opponent. That makes sense because that's the world of college basketball. You're going to have off nights. But for whatever reason, this Wolverines team under Juwan Howard has not been able to pull itself out of these funks and win basketball games. They were close. They've been close a few times this season, in fact, to doing so. But they're a good basketball team with good players, and they have the opportunity to be great. I do believe that. But things are just not clicking right now, and I don't know what the solution is. So for Maize N Brew, I'm Dan Plocher. Thanks for watching today, and go Blue.